What's up, everybody? This is Devin White, linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're listening to the LCC Network. Go Bucks.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Commissioner's Clubhouse and the LCC Network for episode 10 of the LCC offseason. And we actually have like two special guests with us tonight. But first, for those who don't know, I'm Patrick, of course. Jordan, I've got him on the show.
The regular guest.
Yep, the regular. And not even a guest. He's just my co-commish and host, I guess. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. But we got Cody on the show. What's going on, Cody?
Not much.
You all right over there?
Yeah, nah, dude. I just had I don't know, phlegm in my throat. I was not speaking for so long, just letting y'all speak before the podcast, so.
Yeah, and then this is our special guest we've never had on the show before. We gotta play him an intro coming into this. We have got Eddie on the show, guys. GM of Two Girls, One Cup. What's going on, Eddie?
What's going on, guys? What's going on? Long overdue.
Where's the applause?
Yeah, I know. Give it up for trash talking GM of the year.
That's right.
Give it up.
Did you win Rookie GM of the Year too?
I did, much to Cody's dislike. I did.
It wasn't a dislike. I gave my thoughts on the situation.
Well, you know what's so funny about me winning trash talking GM of the year? I'm one of the nicest, most non-confrontational people on the planet. But when I get my fingers typing in a chat,
He's got Twitter fingers.
Yeah.
But if you saw me on the street and you were like, Eddie, what's up? Let's fight. I'd be like, never mind, and I'd run the other way.
Well,
you gonna drop some bombs live on air? Who are you calling out?
We'll see.
But
we'll see how it goes.
We got a spring cleaning episode this week, guys. It's this is an interesting episode, kind of where we talk about guys who we need to move on from, basically. But before we get into that, just a couple news and notes. Not really news and notes, but more announcements. We're still trying to fill the developmental league. We actually have two guys on deck right now to join the LCC to fill the last two spots. I'm just waiting on them to pay, and then I can officially hand them the team and get them in the chat. But at this point, we're really just trying to build up kind of a wait list per se, and fill up the developmental league with 8 people or something. And if anyone here wants to play in it for fun, that's totally cool. It's not a keeper league. It's just a redraft league. I think it's $30 to join if anyone's interested. But that's pretty much it for the news announcements. You guys ready for a quick question?
All right.
Yeah.
That's a quick one.
All right. And for those listening, feel free to put it in the group chat or comment on the video. But can you name a player who you were super high on from a previous NFL combine and ended up being a total bust? Who was it? I don't know who wants to go first on this.
Who wants to lead this off?
The first time guest, right?
Yeah, I'll do it. It's all right. So mine is Tim Tebow. When he was coming out of college, I remember I was in middle school, and I was telling all my friends, I was like, this dude is going to be the best quarterback in the league. He's going to win MVPs. And I remember I actually watched that combine with my dad, and I got some of his stats here. I don't know if y'all remember this, but Tim Tebow didn't do any of the quarterback drills because he was revamping his throwing motion, which, that should have been a key, telltale sign to me that this dude is not ready.
He's working on some things.
But he had he's getting it ready, y'all. He doesn't want to show off his tricks yet. But first of all, I just want to note, he came in at 236, and it was all muscle. He was absolutely shredded. He had the fastest 3-cone drill that year among quarterbacks, and he had the highest vertical among quarterbacks, and he ran a 4.7, which was third fastest at 236, which is pretty stout. And so, obviously, coming out of college, he was an insane athlete. And, Eddie thought he was going to be great, but a lot of NFL scouts probably thought it wasn't transferable. But I just think that he's such an athletic specimen that I thought that it would work out, and it did work the first year. He won a playoff game, and then sayonara to Mr. Tebow. So,
Yeah.
1 year and out. That's mine.
All right, I'll go next. Mine is a defensive end that I was really high on, especially after the combine. But defensive end Solomon Thomas from Stanford at the time. But I believe the Panthers had the 8th overall pick this year. This was the 2017 draft, and he was dead set like my guy. I wanted him as a Carolina Panther. Thought he was going to be the next great pass rush plus run defender, just overall great defensive end. Like I would have traded whatever to get him. But he winds up going 3rd overall to the San Francisco 49ers. And so that's been 4 playing seasons now, and the guy has a career whopping 9.5 sacks. So, definitely glad my Panthers dodged that bullet, especially not trading up to do it. Our 8th overall pick that year was Christian McCaffrey, so regardless of McCaffrey's injury history, give me McCaffrey over Solomon Thomas every day. So, yeah.
No, I think that's a good one. Cody, you want to go next?
That is a good one.
Yeah, I can go. I'm gonna go with Trent Richardson from the 2012.
Oh yeah.
Class. I don't know, like he went 3rd overall in that class to Cleveland, but even then coming out, dude, like he was basically what you thought that like Henry is. That's what you thought Trent Richardson was about to be. What Henry is now. Coming out of Alabama, but he ended up with only like 2,000 yards career total. He's already out of the league. Like, I think he ended up with less than 20 touchdowns. But as I say all this, my honorable mention is going to be Clowney. I didn't want to go with him completely because, at least he is a productive player overall.
Yeah. But still, he went so early in the hype. He was definitely a bust. I think you got to say based off the hype. Still a good player, but just didn't live up to the expectations.
No, I think after the hit, we were expecting him to do that once a game.
How many helmets per game is he going to pop off?
I wanted him to be a Panther so bad, I remember. It's like, oh, dude, we could use him with Greg Hardy and Charles Johnson.
Dude.
And then 6 months later, Greg Hardy just decided to go off the wall.
Panthers dodged the bullet there, too.
Yeah. I remember the Greg Hardy thing to this day. Not this is my player, but I just remember thinking, what the hell is going on? Like, he literally went from being a Pro Bowl player to going to prison. Just crazy.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
It happened to Michael Vick, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't do dog fights, kids.
Yeah. Mike Vick, he was great. But I think my player, I don't think anyone was that high on this guy. But from an IDP perspective, I was super high on him. This is probably my 2nd or 3rd year playing IDP, so it's still kind of new. But I knew for a fact, it's like when a linebacker gets tackles, this guy should be a day 1 starter. Jared Davis, drafted by the Detroit Lions in the 1st round of the 21st pick from Florida, had all the speed. Everything on paper looked good. His combine results were solid. Detroit invested an early pick, and this is before I knew any better that rookie linebackers most of the time don't pan out that first season, and just a total bust, man. I don't even know if he had a game of 30 points or more, and he was starting, and then after that, he still never had a great season, and just a total bust in my opinion. He's not even there anymore for obvious reasons. I don't know where he's at now, but he's definitely not on my fantasy team. The Jets. Wow, they must have been desperate. Jared Davis is mine. I was so high on him. I can't remember what I drafted him in the rookie draft, but it was pretty early. Maybe like a 3rd round pick or something, knowing myself. That's probably what I did. But yeah, since
Don't trash the Jets now, man, guys. They got CJ Uzama now.
yeah, in 5 years, this guy
Super
has
Bowl contender.
in 5 years, this guy had 330 tackles in the past 5 years. I mean, averaging less than 100 a year, which is pretty low for a linebacker. He was a bust. That was mine.
He's been hurt a little bit too. Like he
Yeah.
struggled with some injuries. He's missed games for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our fantasy football spring cleaning. So, for those who don't know, first day of spring was March 20th. So, this segment, we're going to discuss guys that we all need to move on from in 2022. And there's no set time limit for this, so this can be as short or as long as we want it to be. We have a very short segment after this of the LCC Insider piece. But, yeah, who wants to kick this one off?
I don't care. You want to?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I probably shouldn't use this guy for this segment, but I do think that people need to stop valuing him as a top 3 fantasy running back from now on until he proves us wrong. And I hate saying it, but Christian McCaffrey is a guy. I'm not saying we should totally move on from him. Let me just pump the brakes there, but we've got to stop putting this guy as a top 3 fantasy running back until he's healthy for a full year. I don't know if we'll ever see that again. I hope I'm wrong, but I think Carolina made an obvious move this offseason to go get a guy who they could possibly have a committee with on certain downs. And I think that eats away into Christian McCaffrey's carries, not a lot, but a little. And with his injury history, that doesn't help.
Yeah, definitely. I will. I'll go next, but I'll stick on the running back train, and I guess this is directed more at one person, but I'm going to say it's about time to move on from Derrick Henry.
Wait, what? Move on? Like,
yeah, spring clean them. Like, and
what?
I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out. Last year was the beginning of the injury train for Mr. Derrick Henry, and I guarantee he will be injured by week 7.
What?
Oh man, I really hope that happens. I wish nothing but the worst for Cam.
I just
Oh, there it goes. Cam slander.
Tires are going to start falling off. Like it's going to go down.
Let me just hold on.
I mean,
I'll go next. Here, hold
Okay.
on. Let me just since we're on the pulling up the MFL app. Hold on. Where is Spurs up? I think it's time to move on from Jordan Howard, Boston Scott, Chris Godwin, Christian Kirk, DeMarcus Lawrence, Quentin Williams. I think it's time to move on from the Spurs. I think he's won enough. We should put a cap. We should put a cap on him. I feel so bad for BP, by the way. Like, we had a 2-hour conversation the day after he lost the Critter Bowl.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
He deserved to win that. He deserved to win
He had the best, head and shoulders better team that week, and that's just how fantasy works. And
Hell, I'm still saying
I don't wanna-
Denver shouldn't beat me in the playoffs, man. Like,
yeah, I agree.
How do you
Yeah.
feel? How do you think
I'll
I feel
scream
about
that
Jameson
fucking
beating
Mike
me?
Davis pickup all day long. Like,
And then, dude, oh my gosh, in the championship game, he switched out Jordan Howard and Boston Scott 5 minutes before game time. And that was the smartest thing he could have done because Boston Scott went off for 35 and Jordan Howard had nothing.
Horseshoe right up his anus.
Yeah. I don't want to cuss on the podcast for YouTube. Don't want to get this amazing podcast demonetized, but
It's not
F Cam,
monetized, don't
dude.
worry.
F Cam.
I was about to say.
If this thing's monetized, we're doing something great. We're not even close to that.
Yeah.
We get we'll get
Golly.
6 views in a week, and I'm like, woo!
I just can see Cam just doing his little goofy laugh when he beat BP, and it makes me want to throw up. I know he's your brother, and but I like Cam.
No, Cameron is like the I don't. I'm sure everyone remembers Terrell Owens in the NFL, right? I mean, you love to watch him on TV because of how great he was, but you hated him at the same time because he was annoying. He trash talked, like he just pissed you off, and
I
that's
like
kind of like
T.O.
Cameron.
Wade.
Yeah, I was about to say that's that awful. Like that's terrible
T.O.'s way
comparison.
cooler.
You just you just compared your brother to T.O.
I've never seen Cameron doing sit-ups in the driveway.
Yeah.
That's true. Well,
Dude.
Cam's like a turd that's been sitting in the toilet for 2 days. Like you need to flush it.
But he's just so happened to got some trophies with him.
Yeah.
he's got 3, dude.
Yeah,
3
he's
in a
been
row.
pissed on twice.
I
You know
said
what I'm saying?
trophies.
3 times.
Trophies.
Trophies.
I was actually going to mention another player real quick. Unless, Cody, do you have someone that you want to mention?
I do. I just stay on this running back train. Like I think everybody needs to kind of like, you know, move along on the Melvin Gordon train. I think that's probably that backfield's probably going to end up being Williams for the most part. But who knows, man? Maybe Wilson prefers Melvin.
Who
But
knows? I completely agree with you there, and I think I drafted him in the 4th round last year, based on like 2018 Melvin Gordon, which doesn't exist anymore.
yeah, he did a rather. He honestly held on longer than like he got more carries than I thought he was going to. So we'll see if that like carries a little bit into this season, but I fully expect Williams to end up getting the workload, especially down the stretch, because I assume he'll have fresher legs.
Okay. One guy that I was going to mention, and I feel like it's mostly because of the situation he was put in this season compared to him as a player. But for me, it's Tyler Lockett.
I thought about him.
I'm currently rostering him, but I don't plan on rostering him, and I no one's going to trade for him. I already know, but Tyler Lockett is too explosive in the sense that he'll get you 47, then he'll get you 9 the next week or 8. Literally, that's like what he actually had 52 in week 2 and then 9 in week 3. But now he doesn't even have a quarterback, man. So it's like I don't
Drew
know.
Lock.
Ugh. Yeah. No thanks. No thank you. I don't even want DK Metcalf at
Well,
this point.
I still get really upset hearing you say Tyler Lockett because when you beat me by 2, and that kind of was the reason I didn't make the playoffs, he had a trash time catch, first catch of the game with like 30 seconds left, and that's what made you beat me. I was sitting there at BP's house like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. No, I'm not.
I traded
remember
you
that
Tyler
game.
Lockett. I'm pretty sure.
You did. You helped me get to the playoffs.
Well, I'll match you a receiver though, like just from a standpoint of somebody that's been on top for a while, and just like you, he's kind of on my team. But Julio Jones, I think it's kind of time to say goodbye for Julio being like.
I'd like to see where Julio lands first.
Yeah.
But like even then, he's still not the same guy everybody
Yeah.
maybe wants to remember.
But he could
You
still
know?
have a good fantasy
Yeah,
year with
but what's a good fantasy year in this league? Like, is he relevant in this league? Because I don't think he will be. I think maybe he's a pickup guy that you know, or you stash and you maybe think he's going to be good. But I think he's going to have a few good games. He's maybe a 2 right now, but he's not a 1.
I just got to see where he goes. I'd like to see him, like, if he lands in Green Bay or something, I'd like to see what those numbers look
But I think, I
Ooh,
think
that's an
where-
interesting one.
I think that's where I like lie in the fact that I think you need to move on, and this is one of those hard cuts that you have to make, and that's hard to make because you know what he is as a player or what he's been as a player, but I don't think he's that anymore.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I agree. I'm kind of with Jordan there. I feel like it just depends. Another guy I wanted to mention, because Jameson mentioned this name to me, like he was a diamond in the rough entering the waiver wire, and I'm like, dude, you're crazy right now. Sony Michel, I feel like it is time to move on from this guy. I get that he had a great last 3 weeks of the year, but man, it's the Rams, and they've got a committee, and it's just like, I don't know. Like, I mean, him playing that offense and then playing in New England before that, like, he's proven he can't be an RB1. He can't week in and week out, which means he's matchup dependent. and in a committee offense, like, no, thank you, dude. I am not interested in
Yeah,
Sony
I think
Michel.
he's still 3. He's definitely still RB3 on that roster for next year is my thing.
Yeah. Plus, they're gonna pass a lot. Like they're gonna be a passing offense, and Cam Akers is way better than him. So
Definitely. Any other players you guys want to mention?
that's all I got.
Okay. Let's go into our last segment here. This will be kind of a shorter episode, which is fine. So really, Eddie, Cody, you guys are the guests, and you don't have to reveal any secrets or anything of what your strategy is. But just want to talk to you guys about like what happened from your perspective last season with your teams, the way things went, and then how do you guys, just in general, hopefully plan to, uh, improve even more in the next season.
Maybe a certain trade for Eddie.
Yeah. I'll kick it off. Especially for me being a rookie, and I've never done IDP before, and really it was the most fun I've ever had playing fantasy. But um, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was relying a lot on um, like before the draft and waiver wire before the season. I was just relying on opinions of other people as far as IDP stuff. I did some of my own research, but not enough. I think it was just a fun learning experience. I think I made a lot of trades, and the philosophy I took was you can't find out if something's a mistake unless you try. And so I just made a lot of moves, a lot of them off of first instinct, just to see what would happen. And I wasn't even expecting to do anything special. And to be honest, I really didn't. I just got lucky with the division I was in. Um, but I think towards the end of the year, I got really competitive and like hanging in there with Pat, and then beating Alex with a chance to go to the playoffs. I think it was a lot of fun. So really, I'm still learning, but I was just learning what moves were smart and what weren't, and I think I'm learning now that giving away a lot of my picks is going to make it tough to keep some of the players I want to keep and moving forward. So that's just part of it. Going into 2022, um, I think our division is going to be really competitive this year. Jameson's not going to tank after week 3 and then win the division. I think Alex is from I've been around 1 year. I think Alex is a good fantasy player. I think he knows what he's doing, and hopefully, and I know Jameson's brother. And I don't know much about him, but he probably knows what he's doing too. So no, he doesn't. Anyway, I think we'll have a competitive division, so it'll be fun. 2022. Let's see. I really, really, really want to have a solidified running back before the draft is one of my goals.
Come see me.
So I don't want to give away too much, but I want to have a solidified running back and a solidified defensive back before the draft. That's my goal. So that's where I'm at right now.
Cool. Cody, what about you?
As far as like what went wrong, per se, like
I mean, you made the playoffs. I mean, you obviously had to get a season overall.
yeah,
But
I mean, yeah, I mean, not what I wanted, personally. Like I felt like I lost to an inferior team for sure. Like, but like it, you know, like Eddie said earlier, and it's fantasy. It's you never know what's gonna happen. Anything can happen. But I ended up, Derwin ended up not playing. I had a couple of injuries. I honestly want to say Aaron Rodgers didn't even play. So it just, end of year shit happening, like a lot of just unlucky, man, for me. Moving forward, I traded a lot of picks to get Eckler, like, which is fine. I was going for it. The year before that, I had, traded and tried to set myself up to go for it. So obviously, I kept that mentality the whole entire time. I started off kind of slow. And then started building momentum, and me and you had a bidding war for Eckler,
we
actually.
did.
Which you were just being mean and trying to push up on me, but like that's whatever. But ultimately, like, this is how you play this game. You don't have draft picks. Now you start looking at all your assets. You need to either trade them away and get people on your taxi squad, or you need to, or trade them and find picks. So really, like, you need to build your team a few ways. So that's pick your avenue. For me, like, I'll probably do it both ways. I'll do a little bit of both. I need to find the right trade partners. Like at this point in time, like anybody's available on my team. Like, and I would assume that's everybody at this point in time. Like it's the beginning of the off season, anything is explorable, and like that's what you need to have that mindset. You need anything can be done. Nobody is a cement blocking your lineup. Like if somebody's offering something massive, you send it. Like but open mind, man. Open
Yeah.
mind.
There's definitely more than one way to skin a cat in fantasy, so I think you're spot on with having an open mind, especially in the off season.
Also, I don't think anyone should go around skinning cats.
I mean,
No, I think that's a good point, Cody, and really Eddie too. Is that there's definitely more than one way of getting there. Like I think Cameron's a good example of that, since we talked about him earlier. I mean, there has been this belief in the league for years, and there's some truth to it, but it's not entirely true that you have to have a top 12 running back to compete in this league. Cameron won a championship with basically no running back, like swapping him in and out. But that's only because he had other weapons at other positions where he could afford to lose 10 to 20 points compared to what he would have gotten with Henry. Not everyone can have done that, So it's okay if you don't have that great quarterback or that great running back or that great linebacker, but you've got to be able to make up for those points at another position if that's the case.
He also got very lucky with, I would assume, to be pretty low scoring in terms of a playoff run by opponents. Like, I'm not saying what you say is invalid at any point, but very low scoring games against Cameron during the playoffs. He got very lucky.
Yeah, I mean that's part of fantasy too.
Yep.
You got to have some luck.
And we're back.
I'm just saying, I want that to be like put forth. Like, I mean, I get your point, and you're just kind of like piggybacking off of what we said in a way, but like at the same point, like luck is a massive part of all this. So
Oh,
Yeah.
like,
definitely.
don't be scared to make moves. You're scared to make moves to not to trade somebody only for that guy to get injured week 3, and you're trying to find your asshole again. Like, I make moves. Like everything.
We're monetized.
You don't know. Yeah, we're monetized. You just never know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't be scared to make moves. Even during the end season, you think you're out of it and everybody tanking week 3 because they think they're done. Like, I'm just, think about it. It's so
wait it
like,
out. Your division,
random.
you could have 3 teams at 3-8 going into the last week.
Yeah, right.
I think it.
It's so random. Like,
But
just,
I do think that while luck is heavily involved, I think the way you have to do it is you have to be at peace with, like Cody, you lost to an inferior team, but you couldn't control that. So I think you have to. I think you have to build your team for what you think will be the most consistent, and I think luck is involved. So I think it's a mix of having a team that's the most consistent and a team with some depth to account for injuries. Like BP 9 times out of 10 beats Cam in that championship game but it is what it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
I only preference that. I only say that to say, like, don't build your team off of without a top 12 running back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's
don't
a
leave
good
that to
idea.
chance. Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Not everybody's going to have the same, like, run that Cameron just had, like, per se. Like, it's just, you want to get as many good players as you can.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I'm not saying anyone should intentionally avoid a running back, but half the league isn't going to have a top 12 running back at the end of the day. So you got to be able to compensate in other areas. You know what I mean? If you know for a fact there's no way I can get a running back this year, that caliber, well, I got to make sure I get like the best QB or receiver or defensive lineman, whatever, because I got to make up for those points when I play against that team who does have like the RB1. But yeah, that's all we got, guys. That pretty good episode. Nice 30 minutes. Anyone want to add anything before we hop off?
No.
I'm still waiting for my Two A Girls One Cup sound drop, and I want it to be juicy.
Drop that.
I gotta think of something. I don't even know what I'm gonna.
I'll send you some ideas. Just don't be around anybody else.
He's been thinking about this for a minute.
Make sure you're alone when you're previewing these sound drops.
Okay. Okay. Hopefully, it's nothing YouTube's gonna like ping us on or something.
Well, we're not getting monetized anyway. So.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, you won't receive a check at least. No.
I want 10% of all profits. I want my 2 pennies.
2 pennies. I don't even know if it'd be that. We're getting 0.
Eighth of a penny.
I'll go around town in Greenville and see if we can get some sponsorships.
That sounds good. Jordan, maybe you can get Jiu-Jitsu Jesus to sponsor us.
There you go.
We have held an event there.
Yeah.
He'll say sponsor for sponsor, you know?
Yeah, we'll sponsor him in front of all 24 people.
We should.
Let's see if he'll wear a LCC patch on his gi. Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be great.
This was fun, guys. I really had fun.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, man. Feel free to join anytime. Guys, that is it for week 10 of the off season. We'll catch you all in week 11, honestly. We're getting closer and closer to the NFL draft, which means probably more and more trades are going to happen in the NFL and the LCCs. But we'll catch you guys soon. See ya.
Stay nasty.